Hello everyone, welcome back to Lori's Boston, found where thrifted is the new black. My name is Lori. I'm a full-time reseller on Poshmark and on eBay. Today I have a what sold video for you. It's been a while. What sold videos do take a little bit of gearing up on my end. It's a lot of behind the scenes work in order to prep for it, but I think they're very valuable videos, and so that is why I continue to do them. I usually do a little something different with each what sold video, and today what I am doing is I am comparing some retail arbitrage pieces to low cost items. So I took 12 items that I either purchased on retail arbitrage or spent $9 or more on, and then I'm comparing them to 12 recent items that sold that were $5 or less. I'm looking at what each of those 24 items sold for, and then I am going to see which profited more money, what the difference was from my initial investment, and just some parting thoughts. If that sounds good to you, hit that like button and stay tuned because we are going to get started right now. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I am so happy to see you. On this channel, I talk a lot about my reselling journey, and I like to tell people that I look at my information as more of a case study. Every reseller is different. What we sell is different. The part of the country that we live in is different. Our cost of goods are different, all that stuff. I'm here to entertain you a little bit, I hope, and to share with you just my experience. If hearing about my reselling journey interests you and you'd like to join my community, I would love it so much if you hit the subscribe button. I aim to release about 2 videos per week, and I do a lot of thrift with me's and a lot of haul videos, and I put out what sold videos probably once every 2 weeks. I think I'm going to be competing with the light coming in. This is a tricky room. I love it because it is so bright, but if I film later in the day, the sun's coming down. If I film too late at night, it's super dark. So I'm filming, it's 10:16 a.m. Eastern time. I live in central Massachusetts, for those of you who don't know. So to start today's video, I want to talk a little bit about a couple of my wins, a couple of my not so great sales, and give a little insight. Then the meat of it will be the comparing the RA stuff to low cost items. And then I'm going to end the video with all of my numbers. How much did I make in total this month? What was my estimated profit? And which platforms did I sell what on? So stay tuned to the end to hear that. So I do use the app Seller Insight to give me some information about my sales, but what I noticed about it, on one particular day, I was really monitoring it and importing my sales as they happen. There's just a sync button that's fantastic that I just press, and it brings everything up to speed. So it will tell me, you know, if I've listed items that day, how much the items that I've listed are worth, and what items have sold that day. And so it keeps a tally of your sales for the day. But what I noticed was that I sold a bundle for $225, which was fantastic, and it was on 3 pieces. But Seller Insight imported it and it recorded the listing price of each thing and not the selling price. It didn't figure out what the percentage discount was with the bundle. So when I was doing my numbers at the end of the month, when I just looked at Seller Insight, it inflated my Poshmark numbers by almost $500. So I'll talk a little bit about that at the end. I still love Seller Insight, but I am kind of old school and I go through and like one by one go through my sales. I still love Seller Insight. I have a good friend, Sarah Stiles, who also has a dashboard for sales insight and inventory insight. That's a great resource. There are some resources out there to help you look at your numbers if you're not a really detailed numbers driven person like myself. I am married to a CPA. My husband does all my accounting. He does all my numbers. I could not run this business without him. Let's look at a couple fun sales this month. One of my favorite sales was this terry cloth dress, and I paid $1.99. It was a vintage 1970s towel dress. Listed it for $100. I got a couple offers right away. I held out. I didn't even have to hold out for too long because within 24 hours that sold for full price for $100, and I was thrilled. That was one of my highest profit margins for the month. Poshmark took their 20%. which left me with $80, and you take out my cost of goods. So I profited $78 roughly on that. That was fantastic, and it was a really fast flip. So another full price sale that surprised me were these Ash ankle booties. They've been around for a while. They have some scratches on them. I do love this brand. The quality is beautiful, just ASH. If you're unfamiliar with it, I would say that it's definitely a brand to be on the lookout for. Those sold for $75. That was a full price sale. I was thrilled with that. I'm going to talk a little bit more about some other items that sold for full price or didn't sell for full price or whatever in my comparison portion of this video. One really sad sale / return was this incredible Fry bag. This is the Melissa Fry satchel bag. I've talked about it before. I picked this up at a yard sale or like a flea market at a local rod and gun club. Of all places. It was a place where I would have never expected to find some of the items that I found at this place, but two of my biggest sales this month were from that yard sale. And so this bag I listed for $249. I got a $168 offer, which I accepted. The bag was in wonderful condition. The woman opened up a case against me. I was actually pretty disappointed in this. So in my description, I called this bag Cognac. I didn't realize that there was an actual Melissa satchel called the Cognac. I just used it in my description as a color, and I'm very hesitant to identify colors. You know how you have on Poshmark the option to pick two colors? I oftentimes will leave that empty because if it's a color that's like, say, teal, and I say blue and someone gets it and says, well, this is green, if it's ever questionable, I don't click the color boxes. It's just one of my things where I try to cover my butt a little bit. So I'll say in the description, tealish tones, a little more green than blue, but I won't actually mark it in the checkbox that Poshmark offers. So that being said, I called this Cognac. I still stand by the fact that it was Cognac, but when she got it, she took pictures of it and she claimed it was burnt orange. I do not think it was burnt orange. And if you look at the pictures that I'll show here, I feel like my pictures could not have been any clearer. And I typically, sometimes if it's something that I made a mistake with, I will absolutely say, oh, please refund the money. I really felt like this was a little buyer's remorse, and I had done a really good job with my descriptions. Anyway, Poshmark did not rule in my favor, and I had to take that back. We went back and forth respectfully. She was very respectful, but I still think that it was not the best return on Poshmark's part. However, you win some, you lose some. It's a beautiful bag. I have it relisted. I'm confident it will sell again, but that stung a little bit. $168 return kind of stinks. I have two items that sold, and just to laugh, this is something Seller Insight does tell you. It tells you how many days items have been on hand. So I looked at my two oldest listings that sold, and one of them was this fuzzy fur vest that sold to a viewer for $18. And it was in my Poshmark closet for, wait for it, 715 days. Wow, shame on me. I have a handful of items that are over 600 days in my Poshmark closet. It's time to go through my inventory. Second up, this was even longer. Page jeans. I'm very fussy about picking up Page, but when I started my reselling journey, every time I saw them, I grabbed them. These ended up selling for $23. I wasn't even sad about that. I have no idea what I paid for them, probably around $7 or $8. They were in my Poshmark closet for 738 days. So I still have a fair amount of items that were not the best buys, and I haven't done anything with them. I'm kind of like a move forward kind of person, but having this stuff in my inventory is definitely something that I'm reassessing. Like, is this something I want to keep around? Should I pull it and send it to ThredUp or a consignment store? Should I relist it? And if I didn't always have inventory to list, I would probably be better about going back. That's why, in a sense, when the country shut down for a little bit, it was good for me because I had to look at what I already had. I do have a lot of storage, so I tend to not be a minimalist. Let me just put it that way. What kind of person are you? Are you a minimalist? Do you have death piles? Like, where do you fall? We're all different. So to those two items that have been in my closet for over 700 days, for my OG viewers, say it with me, bye Felicia. I say bye Felicia to all those items that I am just like, Oh my goodness, you have overstayed your welcome here. So, all right, let's jump into the RA stuff. I think this is kind of interesting. Always want to give my little disclaimers here, and I'm not gonna like focus too much time on this. I did choose more recent sales for my $5 and under. When I started to do the research for this video, it was a few days ago, so I've gotten more sales in since then. I'm filming this on November 2nd, and that's the day that it will go up. So I think I started doing this around October 27th, so I had a few days extra that went in. The RA stuff was much easier to identify because that's not the bulk of my business. So again, this is not a scientific thing. This is just looking at a sampling of my sales. At first, I had $10 as my threshold, but then I didn't have enough items that I had spent $10 on. So then I lowered it to $9, and then I was able to include a couple other pieces. And that went to the RA side. So either I purchased at Retail Arbitrage, which if you're new to reselling, Retail Arbitrage just means you purchased it from a retail location. It wasn't thrifted. So this is not like new with tag that you find at Goodwill. This is you actually go into a retail location and buy something and then try to sell it online. So it's either Retail Arbitrage, in most cases they're above $10, but I have a couple pieces that are $7 and $5, but I've included all of those, or it cost me $9 or more, which I consider paying up because my average cost of goods is around $5. So if I'm spending $9 on something, it means that I find value in that and I'm thinking I'm going to get a bigger return, so I make that investment. All of the other items that I'm sharing are, again, a sampling, and really it was what was recent, and it was also what in the private section of my listings, the ones that I could easily look at if I recorded the number. So again, if you're new to Poshmark, there is a section in your listings that's private information that only you see. Lulu's coughing, I'm sorry. It's private information that only you see, and you can write in your cost of goods, but that wasn't implemented on Poshmark until the end of 2019. Correct me if I'm wrong to people who know. I think it was December of 2019 or it started in 2020. So not all of my listings have that information. And just for the sake of speed, I just went by what in my listing I could look at quickly and see what I paid for it. So I skipped a couple items that didn't have that cost in there. So I'm gonna start with the RA stuff. And the first one would have definitely been in my By Felicia pile. I bought these Maji Fringe Bohemian swim shorts. The brand Maji, M-A-A-J-I, is a fantastic swim brand. And I bought these at the yellow tag sale in 2018 at TJ Maxx. I also bought a few bikini sets. The bathing suits have sold very well for me, like around that $50, $60 mark. And they have been a good investment as far as Retail Arbitrage goes. I paid $10 for these boho shorts. They retail for over $120. I had them listed at $60 or $65 for almost 2 years. I ended up getting a $33 offer on them, and I accepted. With the 20% that went to Poshmark and my fee, I profited $16.40 on these Maji shorts. Would I buy them again? Not for $10. I would definitely pick these up at the bins. I would definitely pick them up at Goodwill for $5 or less. I would not pay $10 for these again. Moving on, this Whisper Madewell turtleneck striped. I bought like 10 of these. They were $5. The retail price is $35. I've sold 3 of them, and I believe I've sold them for $20, $17, and $15. This particular one that I'm including here sold for $15. My cost was $5. After Poshmark fees, I only profited $7 on this. Would I buy these again at $5 a piece? The answer is no. This is more of a basic piece from Madewell. I love the brand Madewell. If these were sweaters that I paid $5 for all day long, or if they were jeans, 100%. But just this basic turtleneck, as cute as it is, I bought it in the middle of summer, so I kind of knew I was gonna sit on them for a while, but it just isn't a special enough piece to warrant. Now that being said, it's really nice to only have to do one listing for 10 items. That is a real perk of buying multiple pieces for Retail Arbitrage, but this just from a return on investment wasn't worth it. I don't even know if this is fair to include because it's this Patagonia P6 logo shirt. I listed this for $30. This was something I bought for my kids. I paid $20 for it. This doesn't really count, but I was scrapping for retail arbitrage pieces. So I listed it for $28 after fees and my cost. I only profited $2.40. I love picking up new with tag Patagonias. If you get it for the right price, it's great. I've sold some Patagonia hats that I picked up on retail arbitrage. I actually went through a run of bathing suits, rash guards that I also picked up at TJ Maxx, and those were a good return on investment. This was never meant to be an investment for resale, so this is kind of skewing my numbers a little bit. Next up are these new with tag Aloe high-rise leggings. Really pretty. I hit Nordstrom Rack sale. I think I paid $25 for this. I bought 2 pairs of Aloe leggings that day. One I paid $25, one I paid $35 for. I had them listed at $80. They received a lot of attention. I ended up getting a $70 offer and I was thrilled with that. If I paid $25 after my Poshmark fees, I would have profited $31. So I doubled my money at least, so that's not a bad investment. It was just a lot to invest to make that. Next up is this Free People black dress. This went to another YouTuber, Dresden Av. Her name is Margaret. Thank you, Margaret. You made my day with this purchase. I talk about this dress in my podcast that I do with my friend Daniela. We're talking about things that had been in our closet for a really long time. And this dress was one of those 700 plus days, and why we were struggling to let go of these pieces is what we were discussing. So in this case, I personally love this dress. My daughter Angie modeled it. I thought she looked adorable in it. I kind of wanted her to keep it. I only paid $7 for it. I had it marked at like $80, $88 for the longest time. I'm sure the retail on it, you know how Free People is, probably $128, $168, something along those lines. I didn't really receive any offers that I even remember, so they couldn't have been that impressive if I did receive any offers. And I talked about it on the podcast, and I think I had dropped the price finally. And Margaret came in and offered me $45, and she absolutely made my day. I was having a hard time letting go of that dress because it was a style I really liked. It was new with tag, and I kind of wanted my daughter to keep it. It's not recommended to get emotionally attached to your items, and I was definitely emotionally attached to this one. So thank you, Margaret. She sent me a picture in it. She looked absolutely adorable. I'm so happy that's off to a new home, and bye, Felicia, on that one too. I ended up profiting $29 on that, but it took me over 2 years to sell it. So I probably would pick this dress up again for $7 new with tag. It's an adorable dress. What I would change is I wouldn't list it so high. I would probably start right off the bat with listing that at $50, not bothering with the $80, $85, and I think I would have had more success with that. So I still tripled my money, quadrupled my money, really, so not bad. Next up, this is a piece that was not purchased retail arbitrage, but I did pay up for it. I think I paid $18 or $19 for it. It was this rare Adidas track jacket, and it said Chile 62 on it, which I believe was a World Cup. I just loved the style of it. I looked up comps while I was in the store. Comps were really great. I had only seen a few listings that were in the UK. They were selling for over $100. I listed it for $100 and it sold full asking price in about a month or two. That was a fantastic investment. So I spent $19. Poshmark took their $20. That left me with $80. Subtract the $19 and I was left with $61. So I more than tripled my money. This was a great investment, totally worth me paying up for it. The next piece I was disappointed with, but in the end, I think the price was fair. I had picked up this Pharrell Williams Adidas jacket with the trefoil on the back. I paid $10 for it. It was at the front of the store. It was with the items that were marked up. I ran comps on it really quickly. Khloe Kardashian had been photographed in this jacket, which always helps if there's a celebrity to, up the profile of a piece. I had it listed at $80. Comps were all over the place. Some had sold at that price and some were a little bit lower. It was also a size large. I felt like it had a lot going for it. This had been in my closet for almost a year. So if I dropped the price to $65 and then I got an offer, but in the end, it ended up selling for $55. My cost was $10, so I put it in this category. I ended up profiting $34. That wasn't bad. That's not a bad profit, but I did have to wait a very long time for this. So again, maybe if I were to list this again, I would just list it a little bit lower and manage my expectations. But you just never know. Like the case with that towel dress. I took a chance and listed that for $100 and it sold in a day. Or the Adidas brown jacket, that sold for full asking price. You really don't know if you're underselling yourself by listing something low, but then chances are that if you list lower, it will move faster. It really depends on what your model is. Are you a long tail business? That's what I consider myself. Some people don't like to have inventory for more than 3 months. I obviously am okay with things being in my closet for 700 days. I don't know if I should be, but I am. So just decide on what works for you, what your storage is, how much you can invest in stuff, and take it from there. Couple more pieces in this category. This Anthropologie jacket you may have seen quite a few times. I think I have sold it 2 or 3 times. I loved this coat. It's a utility coat in camo and all these beautiful blush and khaki colors. This is such a Lori vibe. I actually kept one for myself in size large, and then I listed the others. I paid $45 for these coats. I was so excited when these went on sale. It was one of those days, it was marked down on Anthro, plus I got an additional 50% off. I believe it retails for $148 or $38. One of them sold for $80. That was not the best flip. I think one may have sold for $88 or $90. I can't remember what that second one sold for, but this was a full price sale. This sold for $120. And again, I was able to list 5 jackets with 1 listing. Now that it is 4th quarter, maybe my new with tag stuff will have a better chance of selling for the holiday season. This was a $45 investment, $120 sale. After Poshmark fees and after you take away what I paid for it, I profited $51. So I did double my money on this particular sale. Don't know that I would buy so many of these coats again at $45 a piece. I am profiting on all of them, but coats take up a little more space to store. It was a big investment. You know, I probably paid $250 to get all of those coats. So you got to watch that stuff. Next up is a very recent sale. I posted about this on my Instagram as well. I recently went to Savers and I picked up this gorgeous vintage Coach bag. Unbeknownst to me, I didn't realize that this particular style, which is called the Winnie, and it has that post in it that goes over the top. I believe the larger version is called the Willis. I did a little research on this. I love vintage Coach. I prefer it 100 times over the signature stuff from like the early 2000s. I pass on a ton of Coach. Coach isn't a particularly fast moving brand for me in my closet, but I loved this piece. I paid $9.09. I listed it for $125 and I went and had dinner. I went and had a salad. I came back. I had 2 messages in my Poshmark closet. One person wanted to trade. One person asked me if I had it in another color. I also had a $75 offer on it that was null and void because it sold for full price for $125 in less than 20 minutes, less than the time it took me to eat my salad. And I was blown away. Then I went to eBay and saw some recent solds and they were even higher. Like some people had sold this bag for $250. I saw that somebody had it listed over $300 and had accepted a best offer. So I did underprice this. I'm not complaining. I still profited $90.91, so I sold it for $125. I got a $100 payout from Poshmark after 20% fees. I only paid $9.09, so I profited $90.91. Can't complain about that. Had I priced it at $300 or $250, it probably would have hung around a little bit longer. Again, it depends on your model. If I were to list this again, I would probably list it at $175, and I still think it probably would have sold pretty quickly. Definitely be on the lookout for this particular vintage piece from Coach. It's pretty hot right now. Next item, this was new with tag, but I did buy it at a thrift store and I paid $17. These jeans retail for over $200. I'd never found this brand before. I wanted to try it out. They're called Revice, and they're very cool jeans. I loved the exposed buttons. I loved the distressing. Lots of interest. In the end, they sold for $55. I probably could have held out a little while longer, but I'm in this mode right now where I'm looking to move stuff, and I'm getting ready to have a sale in my Poshmark closet as I redo my entire inventory before Christmas. So stay tuned for that. So $55, my cost was $17. My profit on this was $27. So ideally, since I spent $17, I would have loved to have seen my profit at $34, which is double my cost. So it wasn't the best investment, but it was worth it because I learned a little bit about this brand. I would definitely pick this brand up again, but just probably not for that price, or I would want to hold out. And I also think that that's worth mentioning. When you do spend up for stuff, you end up holding on to stuff for a longer time because you need to wait to get that return on your investment. If I purchase something at the bins, I can let it go and move my inventory quicker. I offer you this information so you can kind of look at yourself and see what kind of a buyer you are. If you're long tail, short tail, if you'd like to hold on to inventory, whatever it is, when you are spending more money, you're kind of forced to hold on to stuff longer in order to make a profit. So keep that in mind. Next item also, I picked up at Savers in New Hampshire, it was one of the first stores I went to when we opened for COVID, and the selection was not good. I paid $10 for this polka dot bathing suit from Ralph Lauren, but it retailed for well over $100. So I had it listed at $68 for a while, and I purchased it in May, I believe. Mass opened later than New Hampshire. It just wasn't moving, and I had gone through the entire summer and it didn't sell. So I sent out a pretty aggressive offer for $30, or I dropped the price to $30 on Closet Clearout because I don't have that. I offer discounted shipping here. Anyways, it sold for $30. I paid $10. $24 would have been what I was left with. You take my $10 out and I made $14. So I don't know if that was the greatest investment. I was desperate that day because I was just so excited to be thrifting. All right, and last up, I got these starry Madewell denim jeans at TJ Maxx. Had this phase where they were selling Madewell denim for $5.99. I haven't seen it in a while, but I ended up getting a lot of denim skirts and a lot of jeans. These in particular were $15. These weren't a $5.99 one. I got some denim skirts for $5.99, some blouses. These sold for $49. I paid $15. My profit was $24.20. Okay, that's it for RA. Do we need a stretch? I feel like my videos are long. Let's stretch before we go into the next phase. When I look at those 12 pieces, they were either $9 or they were purchased retail arbitrage. 12 items, they sold for $378.91. My average selling price was $31.57. My investment was $191.09. Now let's look on the other end and see what we come up with. Again, I had a lot more to choose from on this side, but I just kind of went through. Oh, and I also want to mention, I did do a what sold video where I go over, I think it was like the first 2 weeks of October in sales. And this is also why I'm focusing on the last 2 weeks of October, but I'll link that in my description. But definitely check that what sold video out. Okay, so we're going to start out with one that was not a high profit. I purchased this vintage Victoria's Secret country velvet two-piece outfit. I had an experience where I sold a vintage Victoria's Secret country line really fast. And I want to say it sold for like $35 or $45. I think it was a nightgown, but I had in my head that this was a big bolo. I always buy vintage gold label Victoria's Secret. It's something I like to pick up when it's inexpensive. So I bought this thinking that it was going to do really well. And I believe I bought it before the holidays and it was green and all that stuff. Anyways, it sat for a very long time. I finally lowered the price to $19 and it sold for full asking price. But I had reduced the price significantly. So my cost was $3. I profited $12.20 on this piece. For $3, I would probably buy that again. But my expectation was really high for that and it just didn't match. Okay, oh, this is one of my best sales of the month. This brand is one of my favorites. I talk about it all the time. The brand is called Ibex. Here's the logo for Ibex. I was shopping at Savers and the second I found this jacket, I was like, I can leave now. Like, this is gonna pay for everything. This beautiful green longer like sweater cardigan style. I paid $5 for it at Savers. I listed it high at $150 because I have faith in this brand. And again, this was a full price sale out of left field. It just came one day and I was like, oh my gosh, this is fantastic. After my cost and after Poshmark fees, I profited $115. Next up, this North Face. I want to talk about this because I've sold 2 kids North Face puffer jackets in like a week and a half's time, or maybe even just a week. This one sold for $43 and I sold one last night for $45. So I, who never look in the kids section, I've just been going to the coats and seeing if I can find Patagonia and North Face. It's just that time of year and kids grow out of stuff fast. This North Face retails for $100. It's reversible. It's absolutely adorable. I got it at the bins where I pay $1.49 a pound. This weighed nothing, so I called it $1.49. I profited $30.80. It sold for $43 with discounted shipping. I also want to say, and I said this in my last haul, when I showed the blue one that sold last night, both of these jackets were trashed. And by trashed, I just mean that film of black, you know, that sheen that you get on little kids' jackets that are on the sleeve, and OxyClean took care of it. Plaid one I washed 3 times. The blue one that just sold, I'm gonna wash it one more time and it will be perfect. So it does take a little elbow grease to get them clean, but they come out clean and the profit margin is fantastic. Next was this Burton button-down shirt. I picked it up at the bins, $1.49. It sold for only $15. It had some wash wear. I had it listed for $25 and I took a $15 offer. My profit was $10.51. I like the brand Burton. I don't think they're known for their button-down shirts, so I didn't want to hold on to this one too long, especially since my cost was so inexpensive. And this gets back to my other point. I didn't pay a lot for this. It was only listed for a few days, and to sell it for $15, I was like, just move it out. The next item, I think I expected to get more for it, but in hindsight, it was still, oh gosh, the lighting just changed again. The payout was still good in my opinion. This Johnson vintage buffalo plaid jacket, I paid $4.50 for it. I think I was expecting to sell it more around $100 because some of the comps on this brand were really encouraging, but it ended up selling for $63 with discounted shipping. I profited $42.98 on a $4.50 investment. Fantastic. Next up is this Arc'teryx fleece jacket. This is really funny. I think I had this priced at $60. It took me a ton of work. I bought it at the bin, so $1.49. Also, I think these numbers are a little bit skewed on the lower side because I recently went to the Goodwill outlet, so a lot of my sales were $1.49. So these numbers, if I looked at a different sampling, could be totally different. So again, keep that in mind. I think I priced it at $50 or $60 because it took so much. There was like animal hair, there was pilling. I spent a long time making this beautiful and I was like, damn it, I want to get a lot of money on this. Somebody offered me $25 for it. So like, I think, all right. Rocco has lunch right now, so it's getting loud out there. I think I had it at 50 or 60. She offered me 25. I totally meant to counter at 40 and I accidentally countered at $30, like $5 above what she asked me and almost half off what I was asking. So it sold very quickly for $30. My profit was $22.51. My investment was $1.49. Not bad. It moved quickly. She was probably very happy and it was still a great profit for me, but I would have held out for $40 on that. Next up with these Patagonia joggers. I got these at a local sale, like a yard sale type of thing. I paid $1. These sold in less than a day. I listed them, I think, for $28. I offered $24 with discounted shipping. They sold immediately. I had a black pair that sold very quickly, I think for $20. So my profit was $16.08 on these. This sweater I picked up at the bins and I knew it was gonna sell fast. I listed it for $30. It was a full price sale, not any special brand. It was Soho. I think this was like New York and Company, but it was this really cute camo dolman sleeve sweater in a size large, really cute. $1.49 I paid that. It wasn't very heavy, maybe $2 from a weighing standpoint. Sold for $30. My profit after fees and cost of goods was $22.51. This next sale really made me happy. I bought this J. Crew bell sleeve dress at the same place where I got the Pharrell Adidas. They have a $1.99 rack, so I always go to that rack. It's stuff that's been there a really long time. I paid $1.99. This was a very heavyweight J. Crew dress, but it just wasn't moving. I was very close to pulling it and sending this to ThredUp, and I got a $34 offer on it, which I was thrilled about. So I accepted that. My cost was $199. I profited $25.21. This next item were these camper plaid slippers that I thought were so cute. I picked these up at a place where the cost of shoes is $4.99. I had never picked up camper before. It was a brand I wanted to try. When I looked at the comps, they were a little bit all over the place, but I thought these were really unique because they were plaid and the holiday season is approaching and they had minimal wear on the bottom. I got an offer very quickly on these for $35. My profit was $23.01. Okay, this was a recent sale and I was really excited about this because this had a lot of attention and I had gotten much lower offers on it. I wrote Hedrig bag and I know that's not the real name of it, so I'll show what the real name is here. I picked this up for $5 at Savers. In the luggage section, I talk a lot about liking to shop the luggage section. I found some really great pieces there. It was like brand new and it just looked kind of like a hipster brand. Listed it for $44. It was a messenger bag, but it was a little bit smaller. Like if somebody has like a small laptop. Sold for $44, my cost was $5. After fees and everything, I profited $30.20. One last thing to share was this cute little Carhartt barn coat. I got this at the same sale that I got the Fry bag. Oh my gosh, and I totally forgot to mention that at that same sale, I picked up a Burberry coat for $35 and that sold to a viewer and somebody who's one of my clients with closet consultations and coaching, which I offer every Tuesday. I have 2 sessions available that cost $50 for a 45-minute Zoom call with me, and I review your closet prior to our conversation. You fill out a questionnaire, and then we talk for 45 minutes, and I give you my tips based on my experience. It ended up being a direct sale. I had it listed for $600. I'm totally digressing. I'm sorry. She liked it. I sent an offer to likers, everybody, for $525 with free shipping. She bought a vintage Burberry tie that same day for $38 in the month of October, and then messaged me separately and said, I'm so tempted by this jacket. I love it. I had her information because she was a client of mine. I normally don't do sales off of Poshmark, especially to people who found me through Poshmark, but as you know, I do YouTube videos, so I sell a lot of things direct. I had her information, and you can never say on Poshmark, oh, email me and I'll give you a really good deal. Like, you can't do that. I would never do that. But because I had Nicole's information, I messaged her through email and I said, if you really love this, I can sell it to you directly for $425. I'm going to profit the same amount. Like, no pressure. I just have your information, so I figured I would reach out and tell you. She messaged me a couple days later and said, is that coat still available? I want it. And I was like, why, yes, it is. So that is my best flip to date. $425 on this beautiful Burberry. Nicole sent me pictures of it. She wore it to an Ole Miss football game. She looked beautiful. My investment on that was $35. So I should have included that with this RA list. I was just looking at sales on Poshmark and that was a direct sale. So I guess that's why I didn't count it. $35 investment. I did have that professionally cleaned. It cost me $7 to bring it to the dry cleaners. So $42 turned into $425. So I got 10 times my investment on that and my best flip to date. So thank you, Nicole. I hope you love your Burberry coat. This is gonna be really uneventful after that, but I bought this youth Carhartt jacket for $5 at that same sale from a different table. They were just taking donations, so I donated $5. They gave me the coat. It sold for $25. My profit was $15 after my cost of goods. So that wraps up my sampling of low-cost items that were $5 or less. So 12 sales that were $5 and under equaled $335.21.
Hey everyone, this is editing Lori checking in. That $335.21 is what I cleared. That was profit in my pocket. That was not sales. And when I compare it to the high cost, I'm also talking about profit, not sales.
My average selling price was $27.91, and my investment was $36.44. On the low cost items, my ASP was $27.91. On the 12 items that were $9 or more that sold on Poshmark, not including my direct sales, my ASP was $31.57. So about a little less than $3 more average selling price. My investment, however, on the items priced at $5 or less was $36.44, and my investment on the other pieces were $191.09. I invested 5.24 times the amount of my lower cost items for the higher cost items, and my return was only $43.70 higher for the other pieces. So the moral to this story, you decide. I personally feel like I like buying the lower cost items. I feel like I get more of a return. I also have access to pretty great brands in my area that I can find for a good price. The stores are still open now. We could roll back to phase one and I could be home looking at online arbitrage, and that could all change. So I thought this was just a fun little way to compare numbers, and let me know below which you prefer. I hope you thought that was interesting. That was a sampling of 24 pieces in my closet. I will continue to do retail arbitrage, especially when it's worth it. The more I do this, the more I see the missteps I've made along the way, like those Madewell turtlenecks were not a good investment. I also have a handful of J. Crew bathing suit separates that I paid $5 for that have been sitting in my closet for over a year now because the same reason. Like, I can't let them go for much cheaper than $17, and they're not selling even at $17. Those weren't a very good investment. I personally am saying no to basics for retail arbitrage and yes to wow pieces always. Let's go over my numbers for the month, just generally speaking. So my goal for this month on Poshmark was to do $5,000 in sales. According to Seller Insight, I did $5,400 and change. When I went back and did all the numbers myself, I came up with $4,966, and I was really sad. I would have much preferred to go by Seller Insight numbers. This was what I calculated, including the bundles that I sold and things like that. I don't know why the transfer of information is different. $4,966 on Poshmark. On eBay, I sold $292 worth of inventory. PayPal and Venmo are now two streams that I need to start watching more closely because I'm doing more and more direct sales from YouTube videos. And also what runs through PayPal is my Shopify store. I have a website, lori'sbostonfound.com. And at the beginning of this month, I released a collection featuring just like a curated selection of pieces that were inspired by the Back Bay of Boston. That's where a lot of my money came on PayPal, and also through direct sales after a video. If something's not listed on Poshmark yet, people will message me, say I'm interested in this, and we can work something out, and then it goes directly through PayPal or Venmo. So I had $478 in PayPal. I estimated about $70 in shipping. On Venmo, I had $546 because Nicole actually paid through Venmo. So that was $425 of Venmo, was that Burberry coat. And I estimated about $28 in shipping there. So about $100 worth of shipping costs there. So if you look at Poshmark, eBay, PayPal, and Venmo, I did remove the shipping costs from PayPal and Venmo. I did approximately $6,184 in sales across my platforms. That doesn't include, obviously, any affiliate marketing or YouTube revenue or anything. These are just strictly sales, and I'm happy with that. I just wanted to share with you all a goal that I've had for this year is to sell $50,000 worth of stuff on Poshmark for all of 2020. 2019, I was part-time on Poshmark until August, and then I was full-time from August through December. My numbers in 2019 were $32,000 in change. This year, I set a goal to hit $50,000. Right now, I think I'm just shy of $39,000 on the entire year on Poshmark alone. So I'm really pushing myself. I really want to hit the $50,000 in sales on Poshmark, which means I need to do a little over $5,000 in the month of November and $5,000 in the month of December. So I am going to be hustling this month because I really want to hit that goal. My average selling price is going up. On Poshmark, I sold 129 items. On eBay, I sold 6 items. Through PayPal, I sold 14 items. On Venmo, I sold 4 items. In total, across all platforms, I sold 153 items, and with the $6,184 in sales, it looks like my average selling price across all platforms was $40.41. Certainly that $425 sale helped boost that average, but it is nice for me to see my averages going up. If I were to just look at Poshmark, where I calculated my sales to be $4,966, I did 129 sales, and that's units, so that includes bundles, so that's per item. My average selling price on Poshmark this month was $38.50. That is actually a big jump for me. I think even the last time I looked, my ASP was like $33, and it was at $30 for a while. I am definitely trending towards picking up items that are going to bring me a greater return. So that is a trend I'm seeing. I go to the Goodwill outlets a little bit less, or when I do go, I'm a lot more selective. I have cut out a lot of basics. There are certain brands I don't pick up anymore. I feel like I'm starting to know my trade a little bit better, and so I'm making choices, and that comes with time. If you're just starting and your average selling price is $18, that's awesome. That's okay. Watch your numbers and see how much you're investing. It really does come with time and practice, and I still make mistakes. There are things that I wish I had taken offers on a long time ago. There are things I still price wrong. We're always learning. Trends are always changing. Things that sold for $50 even 2 months ago might not be selling for that much today. So just be kind to yourself. Know that we're all doing the best that we can. I wish you great sales heading into the final 2 months of 2020. I'm very excited to end the year strong. Let me know what your best sale was this month. I would love to know. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content from me. I appreciate each and every one of you who dedicates your time to my long videos, especially these what sold videos. So thank you guys so much. I love you and have the best day. Bye.